Now, this is a bit of a morbid topic, but a lot of you are wondering about this, so it's time to address the facts here of anyone who's intending to copy a pie for the long term. It also uncovers a very uncomfortable truth about copying pies made by other people generally that so many people are not aware of. Hello and welcome back to the Dividend Experiment, the channel that helps you build a portfolio that pays your bills. The content that we discuss is intended for information and educational purposes only and should not be considered investment advice or investment recommendation. Whenever you invest, your capital is at risk. Tax treatment depends on personal circumstances and may be subject to change. So here's the thing, the pies on the social side on Trading212 should only really be seen as a template. That's all you're copying really. It's like me saying, here is a list of stocks that when you arrange them at these allocations, you'll receive almost daily dividends. What people seem to think is that once they copy the pie, they're all set and can chill out and it'll all be taken care of for them. And I know that because I get people message me months after I've made an update asking why XYZ stock has been delisted or acquired when I removed it already. And I can see why people think that, as there are other platforms where that does happen. For example, I have a dividend income portfolio on eToro that people can also copy. However, when they copy this portfolio, it's a different format. If you're a copier on my portfolio on eToro, it's more like you've invested into a stock of me. If I make a move or buy something or sell something, the amount of money you've invested in the stock of me does that too, proportionately. If I make a change while you're at work or asleep and you're copying me on eToro, then it does it for you on your behalf. Now, it's understandable that new users of Trading212 would think that copying a pie is like that, but I really must reiterate that's not the case on Trading212. And talking of Trading212, I asked Trading212 if they could give me a unique code that you guys can simply type into the promo code section. Capital at risk, terms apply. If you opened up a new account recently or planning to open an account, then here it is, DivXP or DIVEXP, short for the Dividend Experiment. So you have 10 days from opening your account to type this in and receive free fractional shares worth up to £100. I also get something as this is my custom code, so this helps you support the channel too. If you do use it, thank you for your support, and thanks to Trading212 for sponsoring this video. Anyway, back to the main point. Because of the nature of Trading212 pies, if I make a change, it won't automatically change yours. You need to approve the change yourself, meaning that the Trading212 pies are never truly set and forget. Or at least the ones that you copy from other people. Basically, on Trading212, when someone creates a pie, others can choose to copy it, but they still have full control over their own portfolio. If the original creator makes changes to the pie, those updates don't automatically apply to copiers. They have to review and approve them first. This means that the creator can suggest adjustments, but they're not responsible for how others' portfolios perform. Each copier makes their own decisions, so while they can follow along, the final say is always in their hands. And this leads back to the question at hand. What happens to your pie if I die? Hopefully you realise now it's the wrong question to be asking, or at least the wrong framing. You cannot assign responsibility to that which lacks control, for accountability without authority is merely an illusion. Now that's a bit more philosophical sounding than it needs to be maybe, but my point is, whether I die or not, it's you who's still in charge of your copy of the pie. Now of course, while I'm still alive, and this is kind of a weird video topic to say out loud really, but as long as I'm alive and as long as the community supports the pie, I'll still do my best to provide commentary on it, update my copy, etc. However, you can't rely on my corporeal existence for your investments. So what does this mean? This means that to copy a pie from the social community part of Trading212, there is some element of self-management still required. And there are two ways that I think are good ways to do that. Portfolio management. First is to set up some kind of tracking or portfolio management system. There are a few different software programs that can track your portfolio and give you certain warnings or risk scores for stocks that might be in trouble. And some of these will also give you upcoming dividend payment and ex-dividend dates, so it's something well worth looking into if you're planning to take it seriously. Now, many are paid and there are different types that are better at different things, so I'm not going to give a blanket recommendation, but if you are interested in my thoughts on any of these, then leave a comment, and if there is enough interest, I'll make another video on that specific topic. And then also community discussion. As you'll likely have noticed, there's a large following of the pie on the Dividend Temple Discord community, Trading212 itself, and then wider discussion elsewhere. If I was to die, then I'm sure there are smart people to help share their thoughts on what direction to go with on the pie, and help out with the questions here and there. One big problem with this idea is you have to be careful with who you listen to out there, as there is a lot of misinformation being spread. As is inevitable with anything that reaches such a critical mass, it's no longer possible to control the narrative around the pie, how it works, or what it's for. When people have a low understanding of something, they tend to come up with some, frankly, pretty crazy takes, and this gets spread round as if it's fact. I had to make this post on the Trading 212 subreddit because of the nonsense I was reading being given as advice about the pie. Some of it was quite bizarre where people had gotten their ideas from. So if you're going to ask the community about the pie, then the best place is on the Discord, in my opinion. I would say the people in the Dividend Temple are the most clued up, much more than general forums. Now, if you're planning to manage the pie yourself, you'll probably want to know the criteria in which I use to replace a stock in the pie. There are 3 reasons why I would replace a stock in the pie like this. 1. There's been a dividend cut. 2. There's a high likelihood of a dividend cut. And 3. There's been some kind of corporate action. I'll go through them with a real example so it's a bit easier to understand what exactly I mean. So first, there's been a dividend cut. This one is hopefully the most self-explanatory. One of the stocks in the pie has cut its dividend substantially, or completely, and needs replacing. No point wasting your precious allocation spot in an almost daily dividend pie portfolio with a stock that's not paying a dividend, right? An example of this happening was Medifast. It completely changed its strategy, and with that overhaul, it decided to cut its otherwise safe-ish dividend. As it had gone with a new strategy, we had to go with a new stock. That means to replace it, we need to find its dates and find an appropriate switch, and we ended up going with Pentair for this replacement. I believe this has been the only outright cut of a dividend in the pie since the start of the pie, and hopefully we'll continue to catch them early so the news is less impactful. Then, high likelihood of a dividend cut. 3M had been struggling for a while. It had several lawsuits regarding different segments of its business, and it was a situation where if I was the management, I would have cut the dividend rather than drag out the inevitable further and run up debt to pay the shareholders. When I removed it, it was actually quite an unpopular decision, as people didn't agree with me that it would cut the dividend due to its status as a dividend king, a stock that had maintained its dividend for 50 years or more. I was later proven correct, however I was a little early and a few more quarters of dividends were paid out until it eventually cut it in roughly half. Then finally, corporate action. Shaw Communications was a really great monthly paying stock and the first change I had to make to the pie. It paid monthly at a really convenient time, so I was pretty annoyed about removing it, to be honest. But it had to be done as it had been acquired by one of its Canadian telecommunication rivals. When a stock is acquired, it means one company buys another. If you own shares in the company being bought, your shares may be converted to cash or exchanged for shares of the acquiring company, or sometimes a mix of both. The stock of the acquired company usually stops trading once the deal is finalised. Depending on the terms of the deal, shareholders might get a profit if the buyout price is higher than the current stock price. Obviously, if it's no longer trading, it's no longer paying a dividend, and the company that acquired it, Rogers, had a completely different dividend payment schedule. I think it was quarterly, so obviously not such a good fit as a replacement for a monthly paying stock, so I needed to make several changes over time to make up for it. Now I've covered a few things in this video, and some of it could be surprising if it changed your expectations of how the pie works, or that it's not as set and forget as you thought. This might understandably make you feel a bit worried or even shocked, but it's better to find out this way than suddenly realise I died months ago and your pie hadn't been updating, right? So what can you do? 3 different options as I see it. 1. Learn the ropes and eventually manage it 100% yourself. And one of my favourite things to hear is when people say they used the pie but had to change a few stocks to suit them better, or swap some stocks around to ones they liked. I think people are worried that I would be offended about this or something, but I think it's one of the best ways to use it. Another option is discuss the pie with the community and become more of a collaborative thing, decentralised in the community rather than centralised on the Trading 212 leaderboard, and you can discuss with other knowledgeable people. Third option is to ditch the pie for something that is set and forget, like an ETF. The pie is actually somewhat benchmarked to the dividend ETF VHYL. Now the downside of doing this is that VHYL doesn't pay out almost daily and has underperformed the pie since it began, but it would fulfill the criteria of being externally managed and paying income. Finally, and I'm hoping I don't jinx myself making this video, and it's not based on any worrying health conditions, just a few people were asking about it, so I wanted to get it out there. Personally hoping I don't die anytime soon, but you may have your own opinions on that. You're welcome to share any further ideas of how to manage it in the comments below. If you liked this video, and if you made it this far, I'm guessing you probably did, then I have some good news for you. I'm giving away my PDF guide to the 10 dividend investing commandments, or the criteria that I use to pick dividend paying stocks, and I'm giving it away to you for free. All you need to do is submit your email in the link below and it'll get delivered to your inbox straight away. Again, that's for free. But that's not the only benefit of joining the email. You also get updates on the almost daily dividend portfolio, interesting stock ideas or news, and special deals and free stuff that I can share with you. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. See you!